neonate, or initially 1 month of life, we say that it's a neonate. Neonatal resuscitation, what's a neonatal resuscitation means that it's an active intervention to establish normal cardiorespiratory function. Okay? Usually after birth, 5 to 10% of the neonates require the active intervention. Otherwise, they take the spontaneous breathing and attain the spontaneous heart rate, and only 5 to 10% need the active resuscitation to achieve the or to establish the normal cardiorespiratory function. So, what's the goal of the neonatal resuscitation? Why we do neonatal resuscitation basically? To prevent the morbidity and the mortality associated with hypoxic ischemic tissue injury, okay, which can be of the major organs of the body like brain, heart and kidney. So whenever there is difficulty in establishing the heart and breathing, then there can be hypoxic ischemic injury to the major organs of the body. So to prevent it, we do active intervention to establish the normal respiratory and cardiac activity. So to achieve this, we should anticipate the high-risk situations in which there can be a need of a neonatal resuscitation. Like, what can be the high-risk situations? For example, if there is a history of a meconium passage in the mother, or there is a history of any other siblings death in the family, or there is a history of any hypertension in the mother, or diabetes in the mother, or any other prolonged labor or perinatal events. Okay? So we should anticipate that in all these situations there can be need of neonatal resuscitation. So the guidelines for what are the guidelines for neonatal resuscitation? It's basically an integrated assessment or response approach. Okay? Integrated means that we should see side by side many things, including the color, general appearance, and the risk factors of this particular delivery or particular neonate. What are the fundamental principles? These are the same as for any adult resuscitation. That evaluation of the airway, establishing effective respiration, and establishing adequate circulation. Means ABC, you already know. Okay. We should ensure A, B, and C. What's the immediate care? As soon as the baby is out, baby should be placed in the radiant heater. Baby should be placed under the radiant heater. Baby should not let to be cooled down. Okay, especially the head should be prevented. Because if the baby hypothermic, of which there is a high chance after delivery, so then there is very difficulty in establishing normal heart and breathing. So to prevent the cooling down of the baby, we can place the baby under radiant heater. We can dry the baby of all the secretions, because if the baby remain wet, then there is the chance of hypothermia.
डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया तो मैंने अपना यूज किया अपना यूज कर जूम को नहीं बार बार ज्वाइन होते
म्यूट कर ले बेटे, अपनी ऑडियो म्यूट कर लें,
उसमें भी ज्वाइन कर दूं,
अपनी ऑडियो म्यूट कर ले काइंडली। please, there is a disturbance. Kindly अपनी audio mute कर लें. ठीक है? So we then the next we should make the position of the baby, which should be head down and slightly extended. Then next we should clean the airway. This can be via a clean cloth or a suction catheter, but the suction catheter should not be pushed very deep into the pharynx to prevent the vagal stimulation. And then the next step is gentle tactile stimulation. Okay, we only gently rub the back or gently stimulate the soles of the feet. Do not give the very harsh stimulation. Okay, it's a gentle tactile stimulation so that the baby attain the normal heart and breathing. Then the next step is to assess. If the what we assess, we usually assess the infant's color, infant's heart rate, or the neonate's breathing. If the infant's color is good, pink, then we should proceed for the normal care. If the heart rate is more than 100, we should proceed for the normal care. If breathing is normal, then we should proceed for the normal neonatal care. Okay, so it's an algorithm showing that after birth we should assess whether it's a term gestation, whether this amniotic fluid was clear, or there's history of any meconium, then whether the baby is breathing or crying, and whether there is a good muscle tone. Okay? Muscle tone is also important. If the baby is hypoxic after birth, then he will be, or the baby will be lethargic, hypotonic. Okay? Muscle tone will be gone. So if all these things are okay, then proceed to the right of algorithm, that we proceed to normal routine care that provide warmth, clear airway, dry, and assess color. But if these things are not okay, then provide warmth is important thing, and again we do a clear airway and dry and stimulate and reposition, and then we reassess. Okay, first basic steps are the same, but then we reassess. If we again on assessment, the respiration, heart rate, and color are all okay. That is, breathing and heart rate is more than 100, breathing comfortably, and the baby is pink. Then we proceed again for observational care, and then if the heart rate is less than 100, our breathing is not comfortable, heart rate is more than 100, but his baby is cyanotic, so then we try to give an supplementary oxygen support. And then if with oxygen the baby becomes pink, then we again proceed for observational care. But if there is an apnea, that is a neonate is holding breathing, or the heart rate is less than 100, then we provide the positive pressure ventilation. Now it is the point where the positive pressure ventilation or the active resuscitation is necessary. That is, that if there is an apnea or there is a heart rate of less than 100. Okay, and plus there should be a cyanosis also. So still, what is the positive pressure ventilation? Anyone knows? Okay, it's usually then ambo bagging. If anyone has seen the ambo bag come in the ward, and usually in 4th year आपने देखा होगा कि ambo bag से जो पहली resuscitation की जाती है उसको positive pressure ventilation कहते हैं. ठीक है? So if again on simply doing ambo bag, the baby attain the heart rate of more than 100 and baby become pink, then we further proceed for the further management. But still, if the baby is not attaining the heart rate, then we should continue with the positive pressure ventilation, and to gain the heart rate, that is, the heart rate is further dropping, less than 60, is now the heart rate, then we should give the chest compressions. Okay, so this is the indication of the chest compression, that when the heart rate is less than 60. So when we start the positive pressure ventilation, when there is an apnea and heart rate is less than 100 but more than 60. But when the heart rate is dropping less than 60, then we should proceed for chest compression. And if still after all these measures, after giving embobagging and chest compression, heart rate is not maintaining it is still static less than 60, then we should go for the drugs like epinephrine, and or we should give the volume pushes. So first of all, in all this discussion, what's the important thing? The respiratory effort is the most important thing. So first we simply, as we have already discussed, we follow the ABC: anticipate, establish, initiate breathing, maintain circulation, and then lastly we go for the drugs. Okay, if there is no respiration or heart rate below 100 per minute, we have already discussed this in algorithm. But if so, again we for your revision, that if there is no respiration or heart rate is below 100, to give positive pressure ventilation with face mask. There is a specific method of attaching the face mask which should be done in certain workshops or practically, that mask should be closely attached to the mouth, covering the nose, half of the nose and the chin. And still, if the neonate doesn't gain the proper breathing, then we should go for the endotracheal intubation. So, and on all this discussion, we have seen that endotracheal intubation is not an hurry. We can go for endotracheal intubation at last. Okay, otherwise positive pressure ventilation or the embobagging with face mask is enough for even shifting the patient to a ICU care. Slide. Then if the heart does not improve, then we start the chest compression. Improve means we have already discussed that if the heart rate is not dropping below 60, then we start the chest compressions. Where we should apply the chest compressions? The lower third of the sternum, and the ratio should be 3:1. Means 3 are the chest compression and 1 is the embobagging. Okay, so 3 compressions and 1 breathing. 3 compressions and 1 breathing. If still there is no improvement with compressions and the positive pressure ventilation or embobagging, then we should go for the drugs like epinephrine. Then again we continue to assess the child's condition after every 30 seconds. So if there is no improvement, so we should go for the loosely check for our all these equipment, that whether we are applying the resuscitation technique correctly or not. So first of all, as I have already told, that mask should be loose. If there is a loosely fitted mask of the embobag, then the ventilation would not be effective. Then there can be poor position of endotracheal tube. The endotracheal tube can be intraesophageal rather than intratracheal. Then there can be airway obstruction, like anything obstructing the airway means in the neonate there can be a meconium plug in the trachea which can obstruct the airway lower down. So how much we apply the pressure by giving the embobagging, but there will not be effective ventilation because there is a distal airway obstruction. Then there can be insufficient pressure also. Maybe we are giving the pressure very half-heartedly and not pressing the embobag efficiently. And then there can be excess air in the stomach, like in the cases of diaphragmatic hernia. And there can be other drugs also. In addition to the epinephrine, some other drugs can also be given in the neonatal resuscitation. These are the naloxone hydrochloride. One of these are the naloxone hydrochloride. In which condition it is indicated? Basically, it is indicated in respiratory depression, in which the mother has a history of narcotic intake. So if mother has taken any narcotic, then the baby will have a respiratory depression, and we can give a naloxone to the baby to bring the baby out of this narcotic effect. Dose is 0.1 mg per kg, or it can be given intratracheally. Then this is again an important step of resuscitation, that emergency volume expander. Okay, isotonic crystalloid solution can be given 10 to 20 ml per kg, or otherwise if further we need, then we can give a O-negative blood. Soda bicarb is again important because all these resuscitation steps can lead to somewhat hypoxia. Okay, in addition to the baby's own condition. Baby's own condition is also that he's hypoxic. He is hypoxic, and so there is some cell breakdown in the body leading to metabolic acidosis. So metabolic acidosis should be countered, otherwise it can lead to the severe arrhythmias, and the baby will not bring back to the life and will not establish the normal respiratory and the breathing activity. So we should first document the metabolic acidosis, which can be due to the prolonged resuscitation. So we can give soda bicarb, and the dose is 2 milliequivalent per kg. Then further assessment, if the baby heart rate is not coming up, pulses are not palpable, baby is not pink, perfusion is delayed, so the baby is in cardiogenic shock.
कहाँ पे है? हेलो, हाँ, वो कैलेंडर एक्टिविटीज कर दिए ना? अच्छा, हाँ, कर दिया जी जी, कर दिया, ठीक है, कर दिया।
So the baby is in cardiogenic shock. So we can give dopamine or dobutamine. These are the two very important inotropic and chronotropic drugs we usually give in the cardiogenic shock. They are usually given in infusion form, and the dose is 5 to 20 mg per microgram per kg per minute. Okay, so these are usually given in the infusion form. Meanwhile, when there is a need of dopamine and dobutamine, baby should be shifted to an ICU facility. So infusion epinephrine can also be given if there is an unresponsive cardiac shock. Again, the dose is 0.1 to 1 mg per kg per minute. So now few terms like that. What's the primary apnea? Apnea means primary apnea usually leads to asphyxia, which leads to reduced heart rate and then further leading to apnea. Immediate intervention of primary apnea means that at the first step there is an apnea, not any heart intervention or no any color problem. But first thing to be go wrong is breathing. Okay? there is a primary apnea, so primary apnea will lead to asphyxia, as there is no oxygenated blood is supplying to brain and then again heart. So it will reduce the heart rate finally, and then again it will lead to the apnea. So immediate intervention can be tactile stimulation and oxygen inhalation.
मैम आपकी स्लाइड्स आगे चेंज नहीं हो रही, एक ही स्लाइड के ऊपर जो है वो रुक जाता है। मैम आप काइंडली चेंज करवा दें। मैम बस एक ही स्लाइड के ऊपर रुक जाता है, अभी डोपामीन वाली स्लाइड शो हो रही है।
वाली शो हो रही है, अब आई है?
नो मैम अभी नहीं आई।
अच्छा खैर चेंज कर देते हैं। उनको उनको शो नहीं हो रही, तो स्लाइड तो चेंज हो रही है, शो हो रही है।
चलो ठीक है ओके ला
नहीं इधर हो रही है, उनको नहीं शो हो रही, वो कह रहे हैं कि हमारे पास भी नजर आ रही है।
ये चीज है इसमें
आ रही है
यस मैम अभी नजर आई है, लेकिन
अब
फिर
आई?
भी रुक जाती है एक स्लाइड। यस आई है मैम, नजर आ गई है।
ठीक है, कौन सी स्लाइड आ रही है अभी?
मैम प्राइमरी एपनिया वाली है।
प्राइमरी एपनिया वाली, ठीक है। बाद सेकेंडरी एपनिया वाली अब आई है?
नो मैम अभी तक तो नहीं आई।
चलें ठीक है, आप बेटा साथ साथ सुन लें, उसके बाद ये लेक्चर जो है वो आप
रिकॉर्ड
हाँ ये रिकॉर्ड होता है ना, उसके बाद फिर आप लेंगे, ठीक है। सेकेंडरी एपनिया क्या है? It is basically the gasping respiration. We have discussed about the primary apnea, that the first step when baby is not breathing. Then we have discussed the already discussed the events, line of events that will lead to asphyxia, then reduce heart rate, and then apnea. So this final apnea is called the secondary apnea, which is basically the gasping respiration, and it also associated with bradycardia, hypotension, and finally then last apnea. So immediate intervention in this case, in the case of secondary apnea, that when there is gasping respiration, okay? So it is the positive pressure ventilation. I think that you have understand that in the difference between the primary and secondary apnea, that already the name is obvious, that primary means that at first step when the baby is out from mother, then there is no breathing. So you simply give a simple tactile stimulation or some oxygen, so it can work. But then if events further progress, and there is also secondary to first apnea, primary apnea, there is also bradycardia and hypotension, then they finally lead to gasping respiration. And there is gasping respiration, then we should give the positive pressure ventilation, that means embobagging. Okay? Otherwise it will lead to a final apnea. So for all these resuscitation intervention we have discussed, or we have to give at the time of delivery, or when we are or you are attending a delivery in the labor room or in a OT. So you should check your equipments first, that whether you are prepared and your equipments are prepared, or you have all the things that are necessary for the intervention. It include a resuscitation table, a sterile linen, not one, you should have 2 or 3. Then suction operators should be checked, that whether it is properly working or not. Laryngoscope should be checked with straight blade, you should have with the proper cells. Then you should have an embo bag with the appropriate size face mask. You should have appropriate size endotracheal tube and gloves. These are the basic equipments you should check before giving the resuscitation. You should also check the medications like epinephrine. It should be prepared 1 in 10,000 solution. Naloxone you should have on your table. Volume expander should be prepared. Beforehand, you should have bicarb, you should have 10% dextrose and sterile water. Then you should also have a radiant warmer and stethoscope and adhesive tape, syringes, butterfly needles, umbilical artery catheterization tray. Okay, you should all have these equipment to be prepared for the resuscitation. So indication, what is the indication of endotracheal tube? Usually the students or the doctors understand that or think that endotracheal intubation is the first step in the resuscitation. So no, it's not the first step. It's necessary when there is an ineffective bag and mask ventilation. If you can do an effective bag and mask ventilation by using a proper size mask and making a proper seal around the face, then you can survive the baby. Sorry, you can survive the baby without the endotracheal tube intubation. But if there is an ineffective mask ventilation, then you have to go for endotracheal tube intubation. Or if the baby is requiring the prolonged positive pressure ventilation, then you should place an ET tube. And if important is that if there is a suspicion of antenatally suspicion of diaphragmatic hernia, then you should go for endotracheal tube first hand before giving bag and mask ventilation. Bag and mask ventilation is contraindicated in diaphragmatic hernia. In the preterm infant, you can also go for ET tube because usually proper size masks are not available. And in the case of meconium aspiration, you should also go for endotracheal intubation rather than for going bag and mask. So the final slide is when we should stop resuscitation. We should stop resuscitation if there is no respiratory and cardiac activity after 20 minutes. Okay? And if there is no breathing, no respiration, and pupil is fixed after 20 minutes, and in these 20 minutes you should assess baby after every 30 seconds and go ahead as required. But after all the steps, all the interventions, if no activity is achieved after 20 minutes, then we should stop the resuscitation. No longer resuscitation is required more than 20 minutes. Okay. Final and the most favorite slide, students. Thank you. Any questions?
मैम
जी
अस्सलाम वालेकुम
जी
मैम आपने इन्फ्यूजन एपिनेफ्रीन की डोज क्या बताई थी?
डोज क्या बताई थी? डोज थी बेटा 0.1 to 1 mg होती है पर kg, ठीक है, इन्फ्यूजन की. और बट इट्स अ सोल्यूशन, इट इज अ 1 in 10,000 solution.
थैंक यू मैम.
Any question?
और कोई क्वेश्चन है बेटा? एनी क्वेश्चन? ओके.
हाँ, मैं चला कर कॉल कर दिया.
ठीक है, जाओ. चल.